The apple cider vinegar study that helped fuel the weight loss hype claimed people lost about 9% of their body weight in 12 weeks. Sounds impressive. Tiny problem. The study was retracted in September 2025 because of concerns about the statistics, the raw data, the methods, and the lack of prospective trial registration. One independent reviewer pointed out that if the result were real, a few drops of acetic acid would be roughly 50% more effective than drugs like Ozempic, which would be an extraordinary pharmaceutical breakthrough for something sitting beside the salad dressing. So, no, apple cider vinegar does not melt body fat. It doesn't detox your liver, and please don't use it to whiten your teeth unless your long-term dental strategy is to have less enamel. But apple cider vinegar isn't completely useless either. It has a small, biologically plausible effect on how your body handles certain meals. There may also be modest benefits for fasting blood sugar, HbA1c, and cholesterol markers. The hidden logic is that the real effect is quieter, smaller, and much more specific than the internet version, because biology did not read the label. Apple cider vinegar is mostly interesting because of acetic acid. That's the compound giving vinegar its sour taste, sharp smell, and deeply personal attack on your nostrils. When you take it with a meal containing complex carbohydrates, acetic acid may interfere slightly with the enzymes that break starch into glucose. Imagine starch digestion as a processing line. Bread, rice, pasta, or potatoes arrive as large carbohydrate packages. Digestive enzymes open those packages and break them into glucose molecules small enough to absorb. Acetic acid partially slows that processing line. It may also delay gastric emptying, meaning food moves from your stomach into your small intestine more slowly. Since most glucose absorption happens after food reaches the small intestine, glucose may enter your blood more gradually. So vinegar isn't burning sugar. It isn't deleting carbohydrates. It isn't standing inside your stomach with a tiny motivational clipboard shouting at the pasta. It's mainly slowing digestion and absorption. That can soften the blood sugar rise after a carbohydrate-heavy meal and slightly reduce how much insulin your body needs at once. This is the best supported human mechanism behind apple cider vinegar. And notice the context. If you're eating a meal containing starch, slowing starch digestion may matter a little. If you're drinking vinegar beside a protein-only meal, there's much less carbohydrate processing to slow. Same vinegar, different meal, different output. A meta-analysis of randomized trials found that apple cider vinegar significantly reduced fasting plasma glucose, HbA1c, and total cholesterol across the included studies. That's worth paying attention to. But statistically significant doesn't automatically mean dramatic, life-changing, or powerful enough to replace treatment. The overall evidence suggests the effects are modest, and results haven't been perfectly consistent across studies. One Cleveland Clinic dietitian summarized the glucose effect rather efficiently. It might lower glucose a little, but not enough. Honestly, that sentence could supervise most of the wellness industry. A little benefit can still be useful. It just isn't a cure, a medication replacement, or proof that the laws of metabolism have been suspended because your vinegar contains the mother. Ah, yes, the mother. That's the cloudy sediment made from bacteria and fermentation byproducts. It may contain probiotic organisms, depending on how the vinegar was produced and stored. But the main compound involved in the blood sugar mechanism is acetic acid, not the cloudy material. The mother isn't a secret fat loss organism waiting at the bottom of the bottle like a metabolically gifted swamp creature. Now, what about fat burning? This is where the story becomes technically interesting and practically slippery. In animal studies, acetic acid has activated AMPK, an enzyme involved in cellular energy regulation. Think of AMPK as an energy sensor. When it's activated, cells receive signals that can favor energy production and fat oxidation rather than storage. Mouse research has also found increased activity in genes involved in breaking down fatty acids. And yes, that sounds promising. But those fat metabolism effects haven't been demonstrated in humans. That distinction matters because mice are excellent for exploring biological pathways. They're considerably less reliable as tiny representatives of your future beach body. A mechanism in an animal can suggest what researchers should investigate. It does not prove the same dose, effect, or outcome occurs in people. Health marketing loves to skip that middle section. Acetic acid-influenced fat-related genes in mice becomes, "This morning drink targets stubborn belly fat." No human evidence appears. No large clinical result appears. The mouse quietly leaves the room. A discount code arrives. There is some older, small-scale human research suggesting modest weight changes. One small study reported about 2 to 4 pounds of weight loss over 12 weeks with daily vinegar use. That's not nothing, but it's also not strong enough to establish apple cider vinegar as a reliable weight loss treatment. If it helps at all, the explanation may involve slower stomach emptying, greater fullness, appetite changes, or slightly improved glucose handling, not direct fat melting. Fat tissue doesn't encounter vinegar and resign. Your body read the signal, it did not read the marketing. Now here's the annoying part. The same acid responsible for the possible benefit is also responsible for the clearest risks. Acetic acid lowers pH wherever it makes contact. Your tooth enamel is made from a hard mineral structure, but repeated acid exposure can pull minerals out of it. This is called demineralization. At first, you may feel absolutely nothing. No dramatic warning, no urgent enamel notification. Your teeth don't send a push alert saying, "Someone has been sipping wellness acid for 3 weeks." The process can be silent until sensitivity, thinning, discoloration, or more advanced erosion appears. In a laboratory study, prolonged exposure to different vinegars caused up to a 20% loss of tooth enamel. That was a lab experiment, not a prediction that every person drinking vinegar will lose 20% of their enamel. Extracted teeth under controlled exposure aren't identical to real-life drinking habits. But the mechanism is real, and the number shows that vinegar isn't chemically gentle just because it's sold as food. This also explains why using apple cider vinegar to whiten teeth is such a spectacularly unhelpful idea. The acid may remove some surface staining initially. At the same time, it's softening and eroding the enamel underneath. As enamel becomes thinner, more of the darker tissue beneath it can show through, so the teeth may eventually look darker. You tried to whiten the tooth and removed part of the white structure. Natural, efficient, terrible. Acid exposure doesn't stop at your teeth. Undiluted vinegar can irritate the mouth, throat, and esophagus. Vinegar has been associated with burning and esophageal injury, particularly when swallowed in concentrated forms or when products lodge against tissue. A review of harmful liquids accidentally swallowed by children found that acetic acid from vinegar was the most common acid responsible for throat burns. The researchers argued that vinegar should be considered a potent caustic substance. That doesn't mean dressing a salad is dangerous. It means dose, concentration, contact time, and who is exposed all matter. Calling something natural tells you where it came from. It doesn't tell you whether it's harmless. Venom is natural, stomach acid is natural, gravity is natural. None of them have agreed to support your morning routine. Delayed stomach emptying can create another problem. For some people, keeping food in the stomach longer may increase fullness. For someone with gastroparesis, where stomach emptying is already abnormally slow, that same effect may worsen bloating, gas, nausea, or the feeling that food is sitting there indefinitely. People with significant reflux may also find that vinegar aggravates burning or irritation. Same mechanism, different person, very different experience. Apple cider vinegar may also lower potassium in some circumstances. That becomes more concerning for people taking diuretics or certain heart medications that already affect potassium balance. And because vinegar may reduce blood glucose, it can potentially stack with insulin or oral diabetes medications. The effect from vinegar is usually small, but medication interactions don't care that your supplement looked wholesome on a kitchen counter. If you use insulin, diabetes medication, diuretics, or heart medication, check with a qualified healthcare professional before using apple cider vinegar regularly. There's also a documented case involving a woman who consumed very large amounts for years and developed low potassium and osteoporosis. Doctors believed the chronic acid load may have contributed to minerals being pulled from bone to help maintain the body's acid-base balance, while also interfering with new bone formation. That was a single case involving extreme long-term intake, so it doesn't prove the typical culinary amounts cause osteoporosis. It does show why if some is helpful, more must be better is not a scientific dosing strategy. Your body tightly controls the acidity of your blood. It will use the lungs, kidneys, minerals, and multiple chemical buffering systems to keep that balance within a narrow range. Apple cider vinegar does not alkalize your entire body in some magical contradiction of chemistry, and it doesn't detox the liver. Your liver and kidneys already process and remove waste products. Vinegar hasn't been shown to accelerate that system. Your liver is not waiting for a sour beverage to begin its shift. It has been processing paperwork the entire time. So if someone still wants to use apple cider vinegar, how do they reduce the risk? First, don't drink it straight. A commonly suggested dilution is 1 to 2 tablespoons mixed into at least 1 cup or 8 ounces of water. Dilution reduces the acid concentration contacting your teeth and throat. It doesn't make the acid disappear, but it makes the exposure less aggressive. Keep the daily amount around 1 to 2 tablespoons rather than escalating the dose because Tuesday's tablespoon failed to produce visible abdominal architecture. More acid isn't automatically more benefit. Drink it with a meal rather than repeatedly sipping it throughout the day. This pairs the possible glucose effect with the carbohydrates it's supposed to influence and reduces the number of separate acid exposures your teeth receive. You can use a straw to limit contact with the front surfaces of your teeth. Afterward, rinse your mouth with plain water. Don't brush immediately. Acid temporarily softens enamel, and brushing softened enamel adds mechanical abrasion to chemical erosion. Waiting about an hour gives saliva time to help restore the mouth's normal environment. And honestly, the simplest option may be to use vinegar as food. Put it in salad dressing, add it to a marinade, mix it into a sauce. You get the flavor and potentially some meal-related benefit without performing a daily acid ceremony over the sink. If you have gastroparesis, frequent reflux, low potassium, low bone density, significant dental erosion, or difficulty swallowing, talk with a healthcare professional before making it a regular habit. And if vinegar causes persistent pain, burning, vomiting, difficulty swallowing, or unusual digestive symptoms, stop using it and seek medical advice. So, does apple cider vinegar work? For post-meal glucose control, it may help a little, especially when taken safely with a carbohydrate-containing meal. For fasting glucose, HbA1c, and cholesterol, research suggests possible modest improvements, but it's not a replacement for prescribed treatment, balanced nutrition, movement, sleep, or medical care. For major weight loss, the evidence is weak and mixed. The most dramatic modern trial was Retracted, and the exciting fat-burning mechanism is still based mainly on animals. For detoxing, no. For whitening teeth, aggressively no. And for drinking undiluted shots because more pain feels more medicinal, also no. The real story isn't that apple cider vinegar is a miracle or a scam. It's that acetic acid has measurable biological effects, and those effects come with context. It can slow digestion. It can slightly change glucose absorption. It can also erode enamel and irritate tissue. Same acid, same mechanism. Benefit on one side, risk on the other. Biology did not read the label. It responded to the dose. Do you use apple cider vinegar in food, drink it diluted, or did the fat-melting claims nearly convince you to take daily shots? Tell me in the comments. And if you want the mechanism behind the symptom, the biology behind the habit, and the hidden logic behind how your body actually works, Subscribe to The Hidden Logic.